Quick warning before I start the review. I understand all the issues that this movie has had on its release with Melissa Barrera and, everything that went down with her firing. And I do disagree with her firing, and I think it was pretty shameless and disgusting what they did. That's going to have no effect on this movie's review for me, despite her character not being in the movie. Everything outside of the actual movie itself just not going to be involved in this review in any way, shape, or form. I see a bunch of reviews on Letterboxd, Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and just not even people not even watching the movie and just leaving negative reviews. I'm not going to do that. Uh, So if you're expecting that or anything of that sort, you're not going to get that here. I might mention Melissa Barrera's stuff later on in this review, but other than that, I'm not going into it too much. I just don't. It's just not me to involve myself in all that shit. So, let's get into Scream 7. I believe 3 years after Scream 6, which to me was fucking phenomenal. I love these newer age Scream movies. I mean, to be honest, I don't hate any Scream movie really. Even this one, even though I see there's a lot of flaws in it, I still had a good time watching it. And of course, there is bias towards this. I'm not going to sit here and lie. And maybe if I wasn't such a huge Scream fan, I probably wouldn't be rating it so highly. I have a huge wall back there of Scream posters and the popcorn buckets and the VHS tapes and the DVDs and the red box shit. I got a Scream tattoo on my arm. I have Scream clothes, all this crap. So I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say there's no bias here, because even though this is definitely one of the worst Scream movies, and it probably should be rated lower, I still had a good time watching it because at the end of the day, to me, this was just another Scream movie. But let's get into the good and bad of this movie. Going into this, I had not too high of a hopes because aside from the Melissa Barrera stuff, this movie had a lot of struggles going into it. Of course, you're replacing the two directors from Scream 5 and 6 with someone who was a writer for Scream for what, 30 years now? 30, 30, 31 years? Yeah, 30 years now. And that's always going to be a problem, especially when the other two who are now going on to do Ready or Not Part 2 this year did such a fantastic job. I really adore Scream 5 and I really adore Scream 6. I think they're both brilliant. And especially with Scream 6, you can just show the whole world that you don't need Nev Campbell. You don't need, even though she's in the movie, you don't need Courtney Cox in these movies to make them successful. You could have a whole new team, cast, crew, whatever, and these Scream movies can be phenomenal. Um, so going into this, I was very, very worried. You're missing Melissa Barrera, which is a shame. And to me, more affecting this movie, you're missing Jenna Ortega, who I really, really loved in Scream 5 and 6, and uh, uh, hoping I was going to get this in Scream 7, but of course she dropped out of the project as well. Um, it's just such a shame. I really wanted more of her relationship with Chad. I really love their characters' relationship, and I was really wanting more to develop off of that. So it's such a shame we have such a loss on that front. Hopefully Paramount or why am I forgetting the other company, Spyglass, come out and do a huge apology and give them humongous bags to return because even though I didn't like Melissa Barrera's character, especially on rewatch, I really don't care for her character, and this is not a personal thing with her. This is just me not liking the character in any way, shape, or form. I don't like that she sees her dead dad, and I think he just included too much in these movies. Even if it wasn't too much, I don't like the return of these old members that are dead. It just doesn't do anything for me. So I was kind of happy that she was gone in this one, but if losing her also loses Jenna Ortega, then that's a damn shame. And I did like her as an actress. It just I didn't like her character unless they were going the route where she becomes the final girl that becomes a killer at some point. Which we could have seen. The end of Scream 6 was like sort of teasing it, but then she throws the mask on the ground. There's always a chance for her to pick it back up. They could have always done that. I wouldn't have been shocked if they did do this for Scream 7 if she did return. But of course, that wasn't the case. So losing those two was such a shame. At least we get Cindy and Mindy, or Cindy and Mindy. Holy shit! At least we get Mindy and Chad, who are my two favorite characters from the past two Scream movies. I thought they were so fucking phenomenal, and I wanted them to be in Scream 7. And I'm really happy they agreed to do this movie because I think they are phenomenal in this, even though they don't have much screen time, because you are introducing a whole new cast of characters alongside Sydney's daughter. They're not going to get much screen time, but I think they are great, and they're going to continue to be great in future Scream movies. They're going to be, they're going to be the new Nev and Courtney for future movies. Hopefully they're at some point we're just done with them too, because I'm really sick of them, and I'll get to that later. But I really love Cindy and Jesus Christ, Mindy and Chad. I think they're phenomenal. They're fucking hilarious. They're great. I really wish I had more of them in this movie. But with what we got, like I said, I'm really just okay with it. I think they did a good job. As for new cast members, I don't like Sydney's daughter. I think she sucks. I think it just sucks. Something so great about Scream 6, which I mentioned earlier, was that you have a whole new cast, and we did such a good job working around with this new cast, and, having Courtney Cox put to the side, and I'm zoning out, and whoever else. And then for this one, you just bring back Nev Campbell, have her be a main character, and then have her daughter be the main character. I don't need this. I really didn't need this. I think it's annoying, it's disgusting, and it's just not a fresh idea to, the franchise, especially because you're rehashing so much old stuff from the old movies. Even the first scene you see with Sydney's daughter is her boyfriend climbing through the window and doing the dialogue almost quote for quote throughout the entire scene, which is just not original or fun in any way, shape, or form, to be honest. So that's a real shame. And for the other cast members, which I can't remember the name of because this movie doesn't give you a chance to care for them. You have her what, four other friends who just have nothing to them. They're not unique and they don't do anything different or cool or show themselves to be very cool characters. I mean, her best friend literally dies in the first scene she's in, and I'll get to that a bit later with the kills, but there's just no development with these new characters. And I was really happy with that because every time I saw them on screen, I kind of had a disgusted look on my face. They seem like Disney Plus actors, they seem like Netflix actors. They don't seem like they fit the role of a Scream franchise. I don't know what that is, what that means to me. Maybe they need to be taller, they need to look slightly older. I'm really not sure, but these new people just look way too young and way too like fresh to the scene, and I just didn't dig any of them. And I was really happy when they all died, but if you're gonna give me these new characters, at least try to flesh them out in the slightest. It just feels like nothing. You get Mindy, doing all the stereotypes for all of them, but then they just all died the next scene. So didn't know what they were doing there, and it's such a shame. I didn't like have any hope for them. I was kind of happy they died, and I don't know. It just really sucked. It really did just fucking suck. I don't know, man. The Melissa Brera stuff really ruined this franchise. This could have been such a better movie with the older cast, but instead we're here, and we're gonna deal with Sydney's daughter for the next couple movies. Unfortunately, just so horrible, man. Oh. Anyway, the opening of this movie is absolutely killer. I really dug it. It's kind of ironic. I thought the opening of the movie was going to be a sign for how good this movie would be. If you don't know this, I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't see a poster. I didn't see a teaser. I didn't see a picture. I didn't see a frame. I didn't see a quote. I didn't see anything. I didn't see an interview from anything about this movie heading into it. The only thing I knew is that Melissa Brera, Jenna Ortega, and the two directors were not going to be in this. That opening scene is killer, and I really don't like that it feels like the whole point of the opening scene is to burn down and get rid of all the old connections to the Scream franchise. And then the next scene is Sydney's daughter. I'm just, it's just so stupid. It's just so dumb. But the opening scene's really fun. I thought we were gonna get an AI killer, which I was really scared about, and the movie hints to it throughout the entire movie. And I'm happy we didn't. I'm happy that the person inside the house was just a real person and not a robot. That opening scene was just so much fun, and seeing the house being burned down to the ground was fucking brilliant and great, in my opinion. It's not one of the best opening scenes, but it is very fun and it is very just something unique. And I didn't think we were gonna get something that meta like that. Of course we have something like Scream 4, which is the most, meta of meta openings in like history, but I didn't think we were gonna get the house and they were gonna go through the house and explain everything from the first movie. I thought that was really great. And I was really hoping we'd get more of the two actors from the beginning, and then we don't. Um, it just sucks. I don't know. We just didn't. I was hoping at least the dude would live a little longer. He just doesn't. So, uh, that's okay. It really is okay, I guess. But I was hoping we were gonna get a little more from that. But all in all, the opening scene is very very fun. Sorry, I'm zoning out because I'm getting kind of sad just thinking. The more I think about this movie, it just gets a little bit more sad. Um, how not great that it actually is. That's a shame. As for returning members, Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, they're just okay. I don't really care for them in this movie. I love Sydney's husband. I think he is fantastic. Usually with these stronger, older male characters in slasher movies, they tend to just kill them off or have them die to some bullshit immediately. The first scene we have of Sydney's husband fighting Ghostface was fucking amazing. He actually puts up a fight. He's able to knock out the knife out of Ghostface's hand, knock him down, push him around, and beat the shit out of him and almost kill him if he had the opportunity to, but he obviously doesn't. They could have been something so great. And you even get the fake out where he gets pushed down the staircase and it looks like he gets a concussion, but then he gets back up immediately. I was really digging that. That was fucking sweet. I was really happy for him. Of course, he gets fucked over later in the garage scene, but even then, he's able to recover and help in the killer reveal part, which was great. I really love that he isn't just bitched in this movie and he doesn't die. I really love his character, and I can't wait to see him in Scream 8. If he does return, we'll see, of course. I don't know what we're doing for future Scream movies, but I thought he was fantastic. I'm happy they didn't make him such a bitch. And for the killers, maybe the worst killer reveal in Scream history. Scream 6 really had that on lockdown, and this one takes the cake by a mile. I think it's the first time I went into a Scream movie in theaters, and I didn't hear a single gasp or anything on the killer reveal. The killers take off their masks, and everyone just kind of like, who are these people? People don't even remember who the killers were. They didn't remember it was the neighbor's mom. They didn't remember it was the guy from the psych ward. It was horrible. It was such a bad reveal. There was no dramatic music to it. There wasn't any crazy like cuts in it or some type of needle drop or something like that. We don't get anything. They just take off the masks and then they go along with it, and it's not entertaining or anything. The banter you get between them is kind of just nothing, and it ends immediately. It's really just a shame. I don't know. They are the two worst killers in Scream history, alongside the worst killer reveal in history. So this movie might actually be knocked down a couple notches just because of that. I didn't think about it too much before recording, but now the more I think about it, it was genuinely horrible. It was the worst killer reveal in Scream history, and they are the two worst killers in Scream history as well. And we've had some bad ones. We've had some really bad ones, especially with this newer franchise. Like Scream 6 was just so bad, killer wise, and this one being able to top that is unbelievable. Like really unbelievable. I will say though, I think this is one of my favorite Ghostface movies. I think Ghostface moves around so cool. He feels more like an entity rather than a person trying to kill people. Especially with Scream 6, of course, you had him running around with a gun in a market. Like, it was absurd. Like this time he's in the background, he's in the shadows. You can see his mask coming in and out of frame and in the drop shots. It's unbelievable. I love the stuff they do with Ghostface in this movie. I think it's just so cool, so creepy, so scary. His kills are pretty fucking cool. The theater kill is fucking fantastic. It might be my favorite kill of this movie. I think the final shot of Hannah's body just laying down, sort of like a marionette doll or something like that, and you just have the light hitting her. It's just so fucking beautiful. And you have the whole bar sequence, which I really don't care for. I do love the tap kill where the kid gets put on top of the tap and then the beer's getting gushed through his mouth and it's spewing all the blood from his head out. It's fucking fantastic. It's killer. It's awesome. I think the kills in this movie are pretty damn good. My only problem with them is that there's too much CGI and not enough practicality, but this is the direction we're going with slashers nowadays, sadly, and I hope for future Scream movies to go back to more practical effects. We'll see. I know they were in a rush for this one, so maybe they didn't have the time to put in the effort for practical effects, but I think the kills are really cool in this one. Story wise, I just don't. It's just okay. It's just a pretty mediocre slasher story. Uh, man, Scream 7. If you haven't seen it, it is a pretty lackluster Scream movie. It is my second least favorite Scream movie. Maybe even my least favorite on a bad day, to be honest with you. I was really debating between a 5 or 6 for this. I ended up going with 6 because I did have a good time watching this. I can't lie, and I really do love Ghostface in this movie. But the return of old cast members, the new cast just not being so great, and the killer reveal being absolutely garbage is really making me debate lowering my rating and maybe even making this my least favorite Scream movie. And I know a lot of people are just doing that out of politics and stuff like that. But no, I think this is genuinely just maybe the worst Scream movie. I'm not too sure. I don't know. It's gonna make its money back, so that's cool, and we're gonna get Scream 8. I just hope some way somehow we get Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega back because I think they were way too important to this franchise and this new, requel stuff they were doing. And, Chad and Mindy are very, very great, but the core four was such a great bit, and we might never see that again in Scream history. And I think that's such a bad thing. Something I really care about in movies and anything pop culture related is the history of stuff, and having two of the most important final girls of this new series just being gone and probably never coming back is just something so bad and something we don't want to look back on as Scream fans. And even the studio shouldn't look back on and be like, what we did was correct because everything they did was just horrible and wrong. So that was it's just a shame, really. If you haven't seen Scream 7, I think it's okay. Don't read the reviews for it. Have your own thoughts and opinions heading into it. A lot of people are review bombing it, and a lot of people are counter review gushing over it, which is such a shame. This shouldn't be what's happening. Even Letterboxd had to shut down its reviews for it because people were review bombing and then review boasting it. It's really just horrible. This is a big, big mess, and this whole situation is just a huge fucking mess. On Tuesday, I will be doing a Scream ranking video. I was able to rewatch every single Scream movie. I've probably seen all of them like 20 times now, but I was able to rewatch all of them the day before this movie came out, and I'm really happy I was able to because I put my thoughts together and and saw why this movie was definitely one of the worst. So on Tuesday you will see that, but as for then, I'll see you guys later. Tomorrow or sometime soon, you'll see another movie review up this week. I think there's one more big movie coming out this week. I'm not too certain. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.